Episode 13. For once, Nathan actually had complete control, probably only because he saw nothing but fear in her eyes. Their mate was terrified of him. He knew Havoc's rage and aggression was pouring out of him and into the room around her. He couldn't stop that. Calm down. He yelled at Havoc, "You're scaring her." Those green eyes only looked into his for a few measly seconds, perhaps 3 if he was lucky, before falling away to the floor. She couldn't even bear to look at him. "Fuck, this is bad," he thought. "Mate," Havoc roared in his mind. "Why not no? We mate." Havoc was so angry that he could barely string a proper sentence together. Wolfsbane and Silver suppressing her natural instincts. Cora? Disconnected from her, Nathan surmised, till she got the Wolfsbane completely out of her system and the silver cuffs off. She was not likely to register that he was her mate. "Get cuffs off," Havoc snapped at him. Furious, they were still on her, hindering their mate bond. Just then his office door banged open so violently that it took his attention from J-Law, his second chance, mate to his father, the former Alpha. "There is trouble, son. Your mother just recorded this." Nathan saw movement and watched as J-Law shot towards his father and dropped down onto her knees. It must have caused her great pain, but she endured it and pleaded for her life. His heart ached terribly. She thought he was going to kill her. There were more tears falling from her beautiful eyes as she looked up at his father Blaine, while pleading for her life. Her next words hit him like a ton of bricks. "Please, I have 3 children, a family." His anger was being replaced by fear. She already had a mate and a family. Maybe that is why she didn't recognize them as her mate. "No," Havoc whimpered, sorrow starting to filter into his rage. A growl erupted from him, and Nathan knew Havoc was going to kill her mate. She was his, Cora was his. No one was going to have her, only us. He snarled, his anger refueling at the mere thought of someone else touching his mate. "We'll mark over him. Claim now," Havoc roared. He saw his father try to clarify her statement with his goddess-given gift of mindsight. She didn't even hesitate. She wasn't lying, and he knew it. After his father stepped away and just stared at her, to his horror, he watched as she bowed so low that her head touched the floor at his father's feet as she pleaded for her children to not become motherless. "Get her up," Havoc roared, his anger refreshed completely to full force as he watched the utterly submissive position she had taken up in front of his father. He never wanted to see her so low. Not his mate, not the future Luna to their pack. He watched as Jackson got her up off the floor. He was so gentle with her. Not once had he hurt her. Even when he had brought her into the office and sat her in the chair before him, his touch had been light and gentle. A part of him wondered what Jackson felt for her. He had been so pissed off when Nathan had ordered her gone. He'd never seen the man that furious before. Now, watching him with her, he was worried there was something else going on. Perhaps she had 2 mates. That thought elicited a snarl from Havoc. "I know, Cher," Nathan agreed. "I know." He would have to come back to it later. His attention was brought to the TV, and he stood there and watched as Eric Stanton, the current CEO of Stanton Law Firm, J-Law's boss, accused him outright of KG her, then produced evidence that could be construed as proof. That demand to come home, or he would send for her. Then the footage of her actually being drugged and abducted was completely surprising. Wolves were usually very good at covering their tracks in the human world. That bastard had even gone to the lengths to contact the human feds and get an investigation underway, and was threatening to throw everything he had at him. This was indeed bad. If they found her here and in her current state, it would all point to him. Yes, he had done everything that Eric claimed, but in Wolfen society, it was completely normal to claim back what was yours, regardless of how it was done. He was the alpha, and she was one of his pack members, his mate. He had every right to retrieve her, however, he darn well pleased. Technically, even before he knew she was his mate, she had still belonged to him. He cursed out loud the minute his gate guards informed him via the Mink link that there was a car with human government officials pulling up the driveway. Jackson huffed in annoyance. Shit was about to get real. How were they going to explain her current state? "We could explain to them we rescued her from the kidnappers," Jackson offered up, though, the mind link. "Get the cuffs off her." He snapped. The sooner she got Cora back, the sooner she would know he was her mate, and this whole shit show could be resolved quickly with a simple statement from J-Law that they had not harmed her and in fact she and he were in a relationship, that he had saved her. "You hope so," Havoc snorted. "Look at mate."
hurt,
upset. Pups somewhere, separated by us. Nathan knew it was a mess. As soon as she recognizes us, Havoc, we can manage it, he tried to reassure his beast. He heard the howl of pain as they were all trying to figure out a way to sort the feds out, and Jackson was suddenly severed from the mind-link conversation. Nathan's attention returned to the room they were in to see what was going on, and she was gone. He could hear her high heels on the wooden floor racing away from him. He moved to go after her, stopped by his father's hand on his shoulder. Not you. If the feds see you chasing her, it'll get worse. I can catch her. I'll go, Jackson stated, still holding on to his balls. She had kneed him pretty hard obviously and taken him completely off guard, it seems, attacked while he was distracted with mind-linking.
Full story is available at novelpalace.com. Click the link in the comment section to get it free.